As we welcome our viewers in the Gambia and around the world, this is News Review. My name is Lamin Jai. Coming up, Justice Minister calls for understanding in the wake of his decision to release 3 detained junglers. Also coming up, Gambians have been reacting to the Justice Minister's decision there. These and more coming. My name is Lamin Jai and I am in the studio with Fatou Cisse. She will do the papers. From there, we will also have Keksane later and Pasamba Jau. But first, let me get to Fatou there. Fatou, what do we have on the papers today?
Thank you, Lamin. I have the standard at point with me. I'll start with the standard headlines. Sorry. Junglers plan release not finalized. Pressure mounts on Ghana government to bring Gambia to justice. Halifa inspires PDOIS youths to rise up to save Gambia. The top stories reads, Junglers plan release not finalized. Following the leaking of a widely circulated letter from the Attorney General's chambers instructing the Gambia Armed Forces to release the junglers under their detention, the Standard yesterday reached out to the Solicitor General at the Ministry of Justice, Cherno Marina, for clarification. According to Solicitor General Marina, the letter is indeed authentic, but nothing has been finalized as consultations are still ongoing. He will give no further detail, but apparently confirmed that the letter might have been leaked. What is very clear, however, is that nothing has been finalized on the matter, he concluded. Pressure mounts on Ghana government to bring Jammeh to justice. The families of 44 Ghanaians who were killed in 2005 across the Gambian border broke down in tears after attending a forum organized by the Jammeh to Justice Ghana campaign, a civil society coalition which is demanding action against the perpetrators, including the former Gambian president, Yahya Jammeh. This follows news revelations by the 2 members of the junglers who confessed taking part in the mass killing of the Ghanaians in Gambia in July 2005. Halifa inspires PDOIS youths to rise up to save Gambia. The Secretary General of the People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, Halifa Saleh, has said that from the onset, the PDOIS leadership has made it clear that eradicating poverty and tyranny, as well as energizing the people to harness the resources of the nation and to return this wealth back to them, is more important than aspiring for the presidency. Mr. Saleh was speaking in Basse Friday at his party's Youth and Women Congress, which coincided with the 33rd anniversary of the formation of PDOIS. Mr. Saleh urged the youths to first seek knowledge to prepare themselves and serve the nation. The Point headline reads, Fresh calls for Jammeh's extradition to Ghana. 130 victims benefit from Article 19 Capric program. Gambian drug officials discover 48 blocks of cocaine. 130 victims benefit from Article 19 Capric program. Mrs. Jana Bandoi Jang, coordinator of the Center of African Prevention, Resolution and Conflict, has disclosed in an interview with The Point that Capric and its partner Article 19 have supported more than 2,000 victims in Africa through legal assistance, medical consultation, counseling and social support. More than 130 victims have also benefited similar support, she added. In Gambia, we registered about 130 victims, 20 were female and the rest were men. 100 received their treatment support in Senegal during the time as refugees and asylum seekers, in which some were journalists, government officials, soldiers, political leaders, and a protocol at State House. She explained that Capric is a non-governmental organization based in Senegal, adding that they started working on human rights violation in 2001. That's all for the newspapers. Over to you, Lamin.
Thank you very much, Fatou Cisse there for the newspaper reviews. So we will move on to our first story. Abubakar Tambedu, that's the Minister of Justice, has called for understanding in the wake of his decision to release 3 former members of former President Yahya Jammeh's killing crew. The Justice Minister last Friday recommended the release from custody of Malik Jatta, Omar A. Jallo, and Amadou Badji. The 3 beleaguered soldiers who have been under detention for almost 2.5 years appeared before the TRRC last month, telling the investigation they took part in the killing of dozens of people on the orders of former President Yahya Jammeh. On Monday, the Justice Minister, at a midday press conference, confirmed his decision to release the 3 soldiers. Maurice Justice Dabo was at the press conference there, and he came through with this report.
In a press conference at the Attorney General's Chambers and Ministry of Justice on Monday, the Justice Minister admitted that although it was a difficult decision to recommend the release of the 3 junglers, there is a need for incentives for those who assist the TRRC unravel mysteries surrounding numerous crimes against Gambians and non-citizens.
Let me clarify from the onset that the recommendation to release the 3 men is not an amnesty, as some claim. This is totally false. It is only the TRRC that can recommend amnesty in appropriate cases. At this point, the objective of the release is to put the 3 men in a similar situation as those who have appeared at the TRRC and admitted to participating in human rights violations and abuses. As you well know, none of them is currently in custody, and rightly so. The TRRC is not a court of law, and one of its primary objectives is to establish the truth in exchange for amnesty and the promotion of healing and national reconciliation.
According to Justice Minister, the decision to recommend the release of the 3 men was a difficult one.
The decision to recommend the release of the 3 men, who have been in custody for over 2 years and a half now, has not been an easy one for me, especially considering the victims and their mourning families. But I cannot shy away from making decisions because they may be unpopular. I have a responsibility that compels me to consider all relevant factors in making decisions. On this occasion, I have come to the conclusion that it is in the best interest of our country and the victims to release the 3 men after their testimonies at the TRRC. Sometimes this will entail making very difficult decisions. But if I believe strongly that my decision will assist in achieving our truth-telling objective, I will not hesitate to make that decision. It comes with the burden of responsibility that I carry as the person leading our national effort to find the truth about our past in order to prevent a recurrence in the future. I therefore continue to count on the understanding of the public and especially the victims. We need your continued trust and partnership in this process if we are to learn from the mistakes of others and make a success of our Truth Commission. And so far, we have been able to successfully navigate through our own challenges by making the right strategic decisions at the right times.
He said his recommendation was conceived and undertaken in the best interest of the victims and their families.
To the victims and their families, in particular, I know that this may be extremely difficult for you as I am asking you to swallow a bitter pill. But I assure you, like I have done on many previous occasions, that the decision to release these 3 men is also in your long-term interest. I have consistently acted in your best interest, and there is no reason to doubt my continued commitment to your cause. We have come a long way together, and we must continue to push on. Let us make every effort to establish the truth about all the victims and not just some. Every victim family deserves to know the truth about their loved ones.
According to him, the 3 junglers have been in custody for nearly 3 years, and this has put his ministry in the difficult position of balancing justice, public opinion, and sentiments.
The 3 men have now been in custody without trial for over 2.5 years. It is also my responsibility to remedy that situation. We must always remember that in our quest for justice, we must also not perpetrate or perpetuate injustice, even if that is the popular thing to do. We must endeavor to respect the rights of all persons no matter how repulsive we feel about their conduct. We must not do to others acts which we have ourselves condemned in the past. Otherwise, I will be abdicating my responsibility as Minister of Justice for all Gambians and not just some.
Meanwhile, the Justice Minister has this advice for those that he said have been making utterances deemed to be offensive to the sensitivities and sensibilities of victims and their families.
Finally, allow me to take this opportunity to advise those who continue to make public utterances that hurt and cause more pain to the victims and their families. It is an irresponsible attitude and betrays a lack of sensitivity to the plight and suffering of the victims. Moreover, it has the potential to undermine our efforts at national.
The Gaitaf Special Economic Zone is a 160-hectare mixed-use business park strategically located within the boundaries of Banjul International Airport, the Gambia. It is the only economic zone located within an airport in West Africa. Gaitaf Special Economic Zone is segmented into 4 separate zones: Commercial Zone, Industrial and Light Manufacturing, Logistics and Warehousing, Residential Zone. It is a highly secured economic zone with top-notch infrastructure, with eco-friendly buildings and beautiful landscaping. With attractive incentives and access to a pool of labor within the Gambia and the sub-region, the Gaitaf Special Economic Zone has already completed warehouses available to investors. Located less than 30 minutes away from.
Meanwhile, some Gambians have been speaking to our Jaka Sise Jaite on whether the 3 junglers should be released.
Following the appearances and testimony at the TRC of Malik Jatta, Omar Jallo and Amadou Badji, who are serving members of the Gambian National Army, now the Attorney General Chamber is recommending that the said 3 soldiers should be released from custody immediately. We're here at Cooperative to get the opinion of people on the topic.
Okay, my name is Babu Karanbai. Yeah, with regards to the question that you asked, I guess it's of importance the public also throw in their minds with this issue. It's beyond just the Ministry of Justice or the TRRC to tell the nation that okay, we are going to set these people free.
Yeah, man, my fine, my okay, alhamdulillah, man, pa boy la today. Do hal nañ good decision, like as a Gambian lañ, war nañu mëna set guy free because the TRRC bi lañu wax. So nañ briefly ñu appuyer wax sen dega. Why to my know the standards suma benen advice like waruñ dina mëna free pour ñom sen safety. Because am na ñoo xamné hej na ñu ngi mer. Ya ngi understand. Maybe man as a Gambian la ray nañ suma relative or stuff like that. As a Gambian, the same normal Gambian sen. Why ñom sen safety ñom suñ leen baye on the street ñu génna. Te suñu réé man suma nit mun naa la gis ma provoque la so den suma la provoque yow su fekkee ne yow ànduloo sa xel mun nga maa faale te yow soo ma faale wu sa am na keneen dina la topp ba nga ko faale war nga dem si sa family member ñuy harass sa family member so at the end of the day mënoon naa create beneen tension so man su may advice mënoon nañoo bàyyi ba si kanam situation bi su xalee calm den ñu see naka la ñoo suñ génnee si part bi te ba pare ñu ngi si part boo xam ne worst part la ñu ngi wax rey nañ diw every day so part boobu noonu dafa garaaw.
I guess it's of important to get to the public, let them also have their say on this matter. The Ministry of Justice gave in an announcement that these people should be set free. I think it's something that I don't buy as a citizen. They stood in front of the whole nation and said they participated in killing and torturing of victims. So I think they should be put to justice. That's my own point of view. I cannot be going out one day and meet somebody that killed my dad. It's something else. So I think the society, the public also needs another form or way of putting things to the right thing than just announcing that they should be set free.
Dëgg la doxal nañ seen décision waaye ñoom itamit léegi war nañoo mën a dem jël opinion ci Gambian si wala ñoo doxal loolu. Because yaa ngi gis ci media bi every day nit ñaa ngi binda nit ñi waruñ leen a bàyyi every day te right now Gambia situation bi nu mel nit ñi dañu war a wàccee seen xol yi ñu nekk benn yaa ngi understand nekkuñ ci time politics. Let's talk about how Gambia naka la moo demee ci kanam yaa ngi understand situation bi yaaxu woon na 22 years xam nga yaa jaame xam nga stuff like that so mere nañ ko so nit ñi seen mere gi falanguñ so nañu waroon a bàyyi gaay bi ci kanam.
are you doing here?
I'm going to replace my AfriCell 3G SIM card.
Why use a 3G SIM card when you have a 4G phone? Replace your 3G SIM card today for the real AfriCell 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
So now, if there are any people who are central to this issue of the junglers being released from custody, it is the victims. But then it would appear that they are not happy at all with the Justice Minister's decision. Earlier, I sat with a son to the late Deda Hydra, who slammed the development as shocking. So, Mr. Hydra, thank you very much for speaking. What do you make of the Justice Minister's decision to release the 3 junglers?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Lamin. It was last Friday when a delegation of victims went to see the minister, Abubakar Tambedu, Honorable Abubakar Tambedu. Why we asked for the audience was that days before there was an interview in QTV saying, he was saying that there might be a possibility of granting them bail or even release. So we were really confused because as victims we thought that before making such important decision, we should be consulted and ask us even to, comment about it, to bring arguments about it so that we can defend ourselves of not to release or even not to give bail. But it's like the decision was already made. When we went there, he said that they were going to be released. We thought that it was going to be on bail, like also the bail condition release, but it was going to be released with certain conditions, but not like a bail condition. So those conditions, we didn't have the details of those conditions. So what happened is they already decided, and what we understood was that they couldn't rescind that decision, and we should sort of have their back in doing it. And for us victims, that we will never accept perpetrators that committed those crimes against us walking free.
So let's clear one or two things first. This meeting on Friday, was it born out of you reaching out, you victims reaching out to the Minister of Justice, or the other way around?
He wanted it and we wanted it too. So both parties wanted that meeting to happen. So both of us engaged each other.
So at the meeting, the victims flatly rejected the idea of having these men freed.
Of course, we said clearly that we really don't want them to release them and appeal at the same time, trying to give them reasons why they shouldn't be released. And those reasons, all of us know it. They are confessed killers. They cannot be released free in our societies. Who wants a murderer living in your street or even be your neighbor, to be honest? Everybody that does a crime should pay for his or for her crimes. That's why we are living in a civilized society. So if you take that from us, you cannot bring any sense in doing that action. I heard today the statement made by Dr. Cisse, and I really don't agree with that statement because they did it without consulting us, and at the same time, truth-telling. If you want people to tell the truth, yeah, I can understand. You go for others that are not mass murderers, but how can you, free people that already accepted committing more than 40 murders?
So you went to the Justice Minister, you rejected the idea, And today, he came out, doubled down on his decision, and then said he's going to release the 3 gentlemen nonetheless. Were you surprised at all?
I wasn't surprised because the tone he was using on Friday, because I'm a philosophy student, French philosophy student, we learn a lot about people's tone. The way you talk says a lot about the person. And that day, how I listened to what he was saying, it gave me an idea that this was a done deal.
But he said something very interesting today. He said he's doing this in your interest, in the interest of the victims, in your long-term, as he put it, long-term interest. Do you agree?
I understand where he's going with that, but let's think about it again. We are not wanting the truth to come out. Of course, we want the others to come and tell the truth, but there are millions of other ways to do it than releasing them. So why don't we sort of explore, all those other ways before you take such drastic measures, releasing them out? That's what I was trying to say. Let's have a sit and not with others that are really specialists about this kind of situations and be advised. But I don't think that they really give it a lot of thought, and that breaks my heart because it's something that we've been fighting for, justice, for 22 years. In my family's case, for Korosise, is more than 15 years for my family, and Korosise more than 15 years, and the list goes on. So how can you? What they did is like shattered, is like trashed away all those years of fighting to bring these perpetrators, to the book, and all of a sudden they are released. So how should we take this? And
then one of the men who will be released is someone who, in fact, admitted to murdering your father. Should you meet him in the street? Will you shake hands with him? Will you greet him?
Just to give you an idea, I never even wanted to be present that day because I sort of had an idea what was coming. So imagine if I didn't even wanted to meet him there. If I was to meet him in the streets, to be honest, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what my emotions, will drive me to do. Man, they did something that, you won't have an idea until it happens to you, until you're in my shoes. But you can stay there, you can say whatever, because you are not one. You are not a victim. You are not Yamami Sise, that the son was killed so gruesomely. You are not Aisha Jame, that the dad also, another, victim, the list goes on. So this can be chaos. This can backfire. A lot of consequences will happen because, you can think about something and plan it a certain way, but it can come out all wrong, because you cannot control what will happen. You don't have that control in your hands, So that's why certain decision, in my opinion, they should have really consulted not only victims, but also
Very well. With that, we will come to the end of today's show. We thank everyone for being there. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, my name is Lamin Jai. Thank you.